All right, guys, so let me adjust my volume here. Okay, there we go. So hopefully everything comes through, nice and clear with you guys, problems with that. So anyway, in this video, it's going to be a long one, and I'm just going to dump everything on you, whether you're ready for it or not, because you guys said on my other channel that you are, okay? And I don't know what's going to happen here. As you can tell, the devil's working hard against me because he doesn't want you to know the truth. That's just the bottom line, okay? And I've been trying to tell you the truth for a long time now. So it's either you're going to take the time and listen and stop mocking and scoffing me about things, or you're not going to be ready. And I think I'm going to label this the end is coming sooner than you think. All right? Now, it all depends on when you think Jesus died, 30 AD or 33 AD. That's the kicker, okay? Because it looks like everything's coming to an head sometime within the year 30 AD, or sorry, 2030 AD, okay? So in about 3.5 years or so, all right? And I'll explain that here in a second. What I want to talk about is aliens. I want to talk about the Antichrist, the false prophet, all that stuff, okay? All right? Now, the movie, The Day of Disclosure, was made by Steven Spielberg, not for Christians. We already know the Bible. We know it's in the Bible. And so that movie was not to make us doubt who God is and make us doubt, oh, there's multiple planets like ours and nonsense, okay? Now, before I go any further, you guys should have downloaded my videos from YouTube on the other channel there, right? Okay. I thought you should have done. Now I got the channel hiding. If you guys want me to unhide it, then you're going to have to be quick on the button to download the videos. Okay? That's simple. You're going to have to tell me down below when you want me to unhide it on my mountain time. Okay? Because that channel is going to get toasted. That's just the bottom line. So, all those videos will be lost unless you guys can download them quick enough and before they get on it again. You know what I mean? I hid it for now so that we have access to it. In terms of if I unhide it, we can do it, but I can't download anything unless I buy a YouTube Premium. I ain't doing that. I freaking hate YouTube. This shows you that the devil is very real. Okay, so this is going to be a really long video, guys. You need to do your research. You need to look into this stuff. You need to take this very seriously. Everybody wants me to talk about Skyrim videos, you know, and there's like 73 of you that came over, which I'm grateful for, from the other channel. But there was almost 9,300 people there, right? And this shows you how great the deception is, because only 73 of you guys, I think, are taking it seriously. You need to take this seriously, okay? Because what I'm about to tell you is going to blow your mind and you're not going to believe me, but it's the truth. All right? Now, I'm sorry about the lighting. It is what it is, okay? What's important is the message. So let's really, really talk. We're going to have an extremely long, heart-to-heart conversation about this stuff, okay? And we ain't stopping until we come to the end of the road. Because time's running out for you. Whether or not you're going to come to Christ, time is running out, okay? It's just that simple. The most important decision that you need to make right now is not, oh, I got to go to work or this or that or whatever, or I want to play Skyrim or whatever. No, those are distractions of the world. The most important decision in front of you right now is accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Right now. Because by the end of 2030, we would have achieved immortality, and that's in the Bible. So I want to talk about Aliens, the movie, Day of Disclosure, whatever it was called there, tons of stuff, okay? Now, I don't have any bullets. I'm not prepared for this. I just got hit by the Holy Spirit to just do this right now and blast it to you, okay? I don't care if you believe or not, because they believe in you, okay? And I'm worried about you. That's why I even took that channel and put it at risk, high risk, for you guys. See, it doesn't affect me whatsoever. I could care less. I don't need YouTube. I don't need social media at all. I did all of that for you guys, okay? In service of Him. So really pay attention and real listen, because I'm being attacked like never before, because I'm a servant of God. Literally. And God is working through me. Why aren't the other channels like Nick Jones and everybody else, why are they not being taken down? Why is it just me? Right? Like, think about it. Were they serving God? You sure? Because here I am not benefiting in any way, shape, or form, trying to help you to see the truth. So let's talk. And all this is scripturally sound, by the way. Okay? So, a number of things that I did in my Christian playlist, which is what we got to talk about, right? I gave you all the evidence that you needed, but you guys didn't watch it, and that's a shame. Because I talk about how Donald Trump's the Antichrist, I talk about how Yuval Harari is the false prophet, and I talk about the mark of the beast, and on and on and on, okay? So let's get into that. So the very first thing I want to talk about is talking about the Day of Disclosure, the movie. Right? I think that's what it's called, by Steven Spielberg, right? He says in an interview that was intended for Christians to doubt their faith. No, it reinforced it, actually. We know exactly who God is. We know exactly who put us on this planet. We know that there's no other planets like Earth, and anybody who sells that kind of a lie, even if it's the church, is lying to you. Okay? Flat out. Remember, we're told in the Bible, trust no one. Okay? There's going to be a lot of false prophets. A lot of false messiahs. And that's already happened. The Monday showed up, claiming to be the successor to everybody in every religion. We got the New World Order. We got the World Economic Forum. Those are the crowns on top of the head of the beast in the book of Revelations, right? So let's take a look at the Day of Disclosure, what it was really meant for. The non-believer, who's never read the Bible, who doesn't know the Bible, to confuse the person into believing that there's multi-dimensions, multi-parallels, multi-universes, that kind of stuff, right? Because that's what it was, right? Like, is God God of us, or God of us like in other worlds too? And there is no other ones. When you read the Bible and you look at our universe, right, okay, you understand the Big Bang is real. Okay, so here's science. Science goes, I want you to believe in the Big Bang, okay? But we can't prove how it happened. But Christianity can. That's God. See, in order for the Big Bang to happen, okay, in order for all that to happen, there has to be an intelligent designer behind the scenes. Because here's what happened. The Big Bang happens, and let's take a look at our universe, okay? So with all the planets and all the satellites, different sizes, different spaces between each other, all form together so that life can exist just on Earth. Like, let that sink in. In the Bible, when you read the Bible, the book of Genesis, which I did for you guys on the other channel there, I'll be glad to do it here. But the thing is that when you read the Bible, you know that all God talks about is Earth. He doesn't talk about any other planets, only Earth. So the Day of Disclosure is not to deceive Christians. It's to deceive you. who doesn't know Christianity well enough, who doesn't know the Bible well enough, or doesn't even know the Bible at all. Okay? This is going to be a really long video, so buckle up, and this might be part one of a lot of parts. Okay? So, the Big Bang happens. Each planet is a certain mass and a certain distance from us and the satellites too, so that life only exists on Earth. Now, when you read through the book of Genesis, it tells us all the different species that are on the planet, the lives, the plants, everything. And then God saved us for last to be created. And this is what makes us so important. Because He created all the other animals, but He didn't breathe life into them. By breathing life into us, He put a soul into us. And He made us so special and so unique by design that the demons were jealous of us. Okay? And He made us in His own image. Like, take that literally. Not metaphorically. Take it literally. Okay? So God made us in His own image. Science has been trying to sell you that the evolutionary theory is true when actually it's fake. It's not real at all. It ended in a dead end at the end of the day, right? Okay, we cannot mate with monkeys. You know, we didn't come from monkeys or whatever. Okay. They also looked into the soul, which they call the consciousness. So they rebranded it. But what does it do? Record 24/7 and leaves the body immediately upon death. We know this happens when you read the Bible. Okay? So it's the same thing. Consciousness, soul, same thing. Worded differently, but context, same thing. Okay? So science has always been in conflict with religion. Okay? They hate us. I don't know why. They just do. They're secular. Okay? And every time that they try to prove things wrong, they're just proving it right, like the Shroud of Turin, for example. We'll get into that later. So first off, I want to establish that God is real and show you how God is real, okay? When we look at our universe, like I've already said a bunch of times already, we see how it's designed. Can we say that that's by intelligent design? Because it's impossible for the Big Bang to happen and then all these planets align just perfectly, and satellites too, to create life just here on Earth. That's impossible. Okay? So obviously there is a designer behind it, and we can say that designer is intelligent. That means that designer has to exist outside that time and space, because you can't be in that time and space or else you'd be destroyed. Okay? So that intelligent designer is outside of our time and space. That intelligent designer is who we call God. Okay? And his real name is actually Yahweh. We use God as a title. Alright? So once we realize that the universe we're in is by intelligent design, and once we understand that there's an intelligent designer, who is that? Well, that's God. Okay? We know that God is real because Jesus came down here in physical form as God, performing miracles in front of people, including the Sanhedrin and the Pharisees, and they rejected him even though they saw him perform the miracles for real. Okay? All this is documented history. It's because it's in the Bible doesn't mean you should be mocking and scoffing, and you should be taking this seriously and looking into it from a historical perspective. Can we find these people in the history books? Yes, we can. That's the whole point. Pontius Pilate, very real. Everybody else that knew Jesus, very real. You know, proves that Jesus is real. Now, the proof that Jesus Christ was real isn't just in the miracles he did, but it's also in all the people that witnessed it, which were thousands of Jews. Okay? Well, not Jews. Thousands all throughout Judea. Okay? They all witnessed him doing miracles. They all witnessed him after he died and being resurrected. Okay? He went around, performing these miracles to prove that he was real. He went around after he died and rose from the grave. He went around showing himself to everybody and going, touch me, make sure it's me. Okay? Because he's a zombie, right? He's been in the grave for 3 days, right? So they touch him and they know it's Jesus. All this is documented history. Like, understand that. The Bible is not, how you put it, fictional. It's very real, okay? Everything in the Bible is documented history, okay? If you look up, like I told you guys to look up, Ron Wyatt, you would see all his findings. And he found the chariots underneath the Red Sea, and that turned out to be true. He found Noah's Ark. He found the gravesite of Noah and his wife. He found Noah's bones, and he was 18 feet tall. Okay. He found the Ark of the Covenant. He found the Holy Grail. Yeah, the one that held Jesus' blood. Yeah, he found that. And on and on and on. Okay. Now, the tallest giant that we know of in history, according to Israel with a Lean, is 18 feet tall. And Ron Wyatt, and people like that, right? Israel with a Lean found a bed that fit a giant that was 13 feet tall. Goliath was 9'9". And we're told in the Bible that the crest of the flood waters was 22 feet tall. Okay? So that means the giants had to be underneath that. The crest of it. So the highest point was 22 feet tall. Okay? I do believe it was 22.6 feet. Okay? So they have to be 22 feet or under, and I would say under 22 feet. Okay? So we know the giants can only be so big. So the tallest one on record is 18 feet. And that's on record historically, okay? All this is proving that all these things are real, okay? The Shroud of Turin is real because even the AI scanned it and found Jesus' blood type, found out all his wound, over 700 lesions, okay? Lost a third of his blood. And then the kicker is on the upper part of the thing there is the radiation, the ultraviolet radiation of when he went right through the fabric from the inside out. So thin that you could take a razor blade, like when you shave, and it would come off, right? The blood was active and only had one male chromosome. Again, proving Jesus' divinity and proving that Jesus is very real. Okay? You don't need to have faith in this. You just need to have common sense and go out there and actually look into it. Stop monkeying around, stop thinking that this is all a joke, because it's not, all right? I spent a great deal of time on that channel trying to help you guys out. Okay, we're running out of time. So, Shroud of Turin confirms that Jesus is real. The people that saw him, the apostles, died horrific deaths. Why would they die horrific deaths unless they saw something truly miraculous, that they died for Jesus Christ? Okay? You got to understand, these people are historical figures. You can look them up for real. Okay? All the people in Judea saw Jesus Christ. Even his enemies, Rome. And they wrote about it in stone tablets. Regular people like you and me wrote about it in papers, like, what we used to call a diary, And the Romans, because they want to persevere, because paper can burn, they go, we want to make sure this stays. They wrote about it in stone about Jesus Christ. Now, why would the Romans do that? Who hated him, right? So when we look at the historical records, when we look at the Bible, we can prove that biblical events really did happen, like the flood and all that kind of stuff, right? And we can prove that those people actually really existed. And we can prove that Jesus was divine and really rose from the grave and really did the miracles that the Bible claims, because it's all documented history. And this is where you have to get off your ass and start doing your own research. because I can only do so much for you. You know the internet way more better than I do, okay? All right, so stop monkeying around, because either you're going to or you're not. And if you're not, you know what? You're going to get left behind. Like you're going to go to hell. Like understand that, okay? This is about where you're going to end up, not where I'm going to end up. I'm going to end up in heaven, not because I'm a good person, but because God saved me in the flesh as Jesus Christ. And I put my faith and trust in that, and I'm good, you know? None of us are good people, but we try to do our best, okay? So, we have proof of God. We have proof of Jesus Christ. Now let's move forward from there. So the movie, Day of Disclosure, I want to talk about this, okay? And also we have historical evidence that proves that all the biblical events really did happen, okay? In the book of Torah and in the New Testament, except for the things to come. And we're going to talk about present time too. So the movie Day of Disclosure was meant to confuse you, the secular people, and the people that are weak in their faith because they haven't been to Christ for too long, right? When you read the whole entire Bible, you understand our relationship with God, why we're here, our whole purpose, okay? So when they released the movie Day of Disclosure, Christians, I didn't go see it. I wouldn't recommend anyone to go see it because why support it? Doesn't make any sense. We already know the truth, okay? So the Day of Disclosure was actually meant to confuse people into believing in a lie as one of the devil's last attempts to get more souls, right? Okay. Because the Day of Disclosure is not going to take a Christian like myself and make us doubt our faith. No. Even though that's what Spielberg said his intent was, that's not going to happen. Because there's not multi-universes, there's not parallel universes, there's none of that crap. That's occultism. It's all garbage. It's not real. Let that sink in. So we know the truth that life only exists on Earth. That's it. And out of all the species on this planet, we're the most special because we were created in God's own image. Literally. Okay? We have a soul. And the veil is thinning all the time, and it's getting to a dangerous point where it's about to break. And when it breaks, we're really in trouble. Okay? Because then you're going to see the angels and demons fighting over our soul. Literally. There's a really good video out there on YouTube by John Rich called Revelation. Go watch it. Does an excellent job of showing you the two sides fighting over our souls, right? And we know that the veil is getting thinner because look at our technology. It's revealing this stuff. It's revealing orbs, shadow people, and all sorts of crazy stuff, right? Okay? And the thing is like if you believe in anything in the paranormal or supernatural, then you have to believe in God and Jesus and the devil and that kind of stuff too. Because you cannot separate them because they all go hand in hand. Right? And just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real. So we need to really, like what you guys really need to do is sit down and do your research. Okay? Proper research. You understand? Years. However long it takes. It took me 20 years because I had to do it by foot. Literally. Okay? So, we understand that God is real, that the events in the Bible really did happen. We understand that Jesus is real, and he really did perform the miracles, and that the apostles died horrific deaths for him. No one dies for nothing, you know? Like obviously they saw something. So now, Day of Disclosure is meant to deceive the people that don't know Christ. That's what it's meant for. God will cast a great delusion on the people. That's in the Bible, okay? And that's what's happening right now. A lot of people are deceived. We see sexual immorality like never before, okay? We see wars, famines, pestilence, disease, natural disasters like never before. Okay? And all that's described in Matthew 24. The fall of the church, the Catholic Church has fallen. It's in a terrible state. You got the fall of Israel. The war in the war of Gog and Magog is going on right now. Iran again being funded by Putin, against Israel. Donald Trump measures up to the Jewish Messiah because his name equals the number of the Jewish Messiah. And I'm going to get into how Donald Trump is the Antichrist here in a little bit, okay? So the whole point to Age of Disclosure is they took people supposedly of faith and made them doubt their own faith. And that's impossible. I'll tell you that right now. Anybody who is a real Christian, who's read the Bible, knows the truth, okay? And you can't deceive them because they are the elect. I'm the elect. They're the elect, okay? We're the elect. The Gentiles who believe in Jesus Christ are the elect, okay? The ones who never walk with him but still have faith in him, right? Now let's look at the aliens. Who are they really? There's two types, angels and demons, okay? And there are. Now the Bible tells us exactly what demons look like and exactly what angels look like. The majority of the aliens that we're seeing, which by the way are here on Earth now, they're not just in the space and in the air, but they're actually on Earth, multiplying with us. Okay? Now there's ones that look like humans. Let's talk about the angels here for a second. Then there's the cherubs. There's the ones with the 4 faces. There's the ones that look like wheels with a bunch of eyes in them, and on and on and on. Okay? Those are the angels. The demons look humanoid-like, but in a very terrifying form. Now, when we look at the Greys, we look at the reptilians, and so on, we can say that those are very terrifying entities, right? Okay? They're humanoid. They look like us, but they're not us. Okay? They look demonic, because that's exactly what they are. Now, let's take a look at what they've done. They've mutilated the cattle, shut down our nuclear weapons, and abducted us from our home against our own free will. That's something that God would never do. Okay? And they performed sexual surgery on us to produce an off-breed species, which they were successful at, who is now among us, mating with us. Okay? And they live to be about 1,000 years old, by the way. Legit, straight up, no joke. There's even a breed of demon that is the Nordic, which looks human. And scaringly so, they look almost angelic, but you can see there's something demonic behind them. They got this like really off-white color and incredibly intense blue eyes. And blonde hair that's so blonde, it's like a white, it's white. You know what I mean? I used to have that. It's called sandy blonde, right? I used to have that kind of hair, right? So you got that going on. So the demons are here. Now the angels are starting to show up. I just saw some footage of this, thanks to a channel I told you to watch, Blackwoods, who found footage of the angels that are in the shape of wheels with the eyes. Okay? They're in our sky. Now I don't know if the angels are down here with us yet, but I do know the demons are here, okay? With us, walking among us, literally, okay? In human form. Remember, demons can cast a delusion onto people to make them see whatever they want to see. You hear a lot of stories about the incubus and succubus demon. That would be them, Okay? And no, they don't come to you in your dreams. They can do that too. They can put thoughts in your head that weren't there before. Because 5 minutes ago you were watching a game of hockey and then all of a sudden you felt extremely horny. That doesn't happen. Okay? It's not normal. So we know that the aliens are actually the demons of the Bible. Some of them are angels, which are just starting to manifest now. Okay? But most of them are the demons. The demons are walking among us, they're mating with us, they're having sex with us, and they're making offspring. Now about Donald Trump being the Antichrist. He took what seemed to be a mortal wound to the head and survived, and the world became fascinated with him. That's literally biblical, okay? That's verbatim. And that's exactly what happened. Donald Trump had that assassination attempt and was so perfectly executed to not to kill him, but to make it look close enough that he would have been killed. And then everybody said, look, God turned his head. And I was thinking with discernment, no, that's the Antichrist. That's the first sign of the Antichrist. And then that gave Donald Trump the most powerful nation in the world, the United States of America. That's by design. Then he goes out and he makes a covenant of the many. Well, when we look at the peace accord that was done in 2025 and it got strengthened through his, son-in-law? Okay? That's exactly what the Antichrist gets done. Okay? That starts, when that peace treaty starts the tribulation. That happened in October 2025. That's signing. I gave you guys all the evidence on the other channel. Okay? Should have watched those videos and took it seriously. You took it for granted and it got taken away. You had plenty of time. You could have downloaded that stuff. Well, no, you mocked me and you scoffed me and now you're going to pay the price for it, you know. God's trying to reach you and you're not listening. You better wake up. So that's the second thing. The third thing that the Antichrist does, according to the Bible, is he gets the third temple rebuilt. Well, that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. You see, Donald Trump checks all the boxes, okay? Donald Trump is working with Bibi to get the third temple rebuilt and the Sanhedrin. The Sanhedrin appointed him to be a Jew, so now he's a Jew. The Sanhedrin looked at his name, and his name in numbers, in their numbers, because numbers means power, okay? Names mean, okay? Names are important. Came to their number for the Messiah. Coincidence? Oh no. And he said to the Sanhedrin, when I get your temple rebuilt, you're to call me King of the Jews. That's a title that's reserved exclusively for Jesus Christ himself. That is just outright blasphemy right there. Okay? Donald Trump posted on his account on X all the time, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He mentions at the bottom God, and he calls God Allah. Well, that's Islam, and that is not the real God. He also mocked the Pope and showed himself as being the Pope. He also showed the Gaza Strip as having a big gold statue of himself in the middle of it to be worshipped, and a bunch of shops selling little Buddha images of himself to be worshipped and glorified in gold. And that gold is extremely important because the Antichrist loves gold. Okay. And then Donald Trump made another AI image of himself as Jesus Christ casting out demons. Donald Trump is going, I'll get into how he's the new Roman Empire too, okay? So these are examples of how he is the Antichrist, okay? Because what he's going to do when the time is right, once the third temple is rebuilt, And they got everything together. That red heifer sacrifice that was a practice wasn't practice, it was real. And the guy who filmed it said it was real. They had a real priest on site who did the real thing, and they had a real heifer that was flawless. And that they took the ashes and used it for the purposes it was meant for, to cleanse the priest and to cleanse the tools and to cleanse the things that are going to the temple. They got all the stones created already. A woman pointed up and on YouTube there and pointed it out on a short, all the stones that were being quarried for the third temple. Bibi stood underneath the dome of the rock, where the third temple is supposed to go, showing that they're tunneling underneath it to try and cause it to collapse and have a shaky foundation. Just trying to think now where to go from here. So that's that part of it, okay? The false prophet is Yuval Harari. He's been telling you guys since at least 2015 and on that we are God, we're better than God, we don't need God, we can rise above God to be God, and if you give geeks enough money and enough time, they can make anything. Okay? Look at where we're at now. We are chasing immortality, that by the end of 2030 we will achieve it. And I want you to keep 2030 in mind, because everything is coming to an head within 2030. That could be the return of Jesus Christ himself, literally, which would be the end of the tribulation, of the Great Tribulation. Okay? Now, where was I with that thought that I was thinking? Yuval Harari, right? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Appreciate it. I'm really out of it, so I'm totally dependent on the Holy Spirit to help me through this, okay? So, Yuval Harari is the false prophet. He came out with that first book, and it literally said that we are God in a different language. I forget which language. And ever since then, you guys have been glorifying him like as if he was God, okay? And you believe him. There is actually, he was giving I forget what you call it, but there was an assembly of people there, but some sort of thing was going on in 2015, and he gave a speech to everybody, okay? And one of the things that he mentioned was like how we are God, you don't need God's clouds, you got our clouds and all these other things and everything like that. How the Bible is nonsense, blah, 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 and he's gay and he's Jewish, okay? Very important to know. He's spreading lies and misinformation. Yet you guys buy his books, you believe everything that he says, and even Christians are falling for this trap right now with Yuval Harari. Okay, I see it on YouTube all the time. That's the false prophet. He's already deceived a lot of people. A lot. He's the #1 seller on the book list, right? So now let's talk about the rise of the Roman Empire. That's the United States of America. What do you think "Make America Great Again" means? It's not about America. You ever notice that before Donald Trump came into office, he went after Britain, Canada, Greenland, Panama Canal, renamed the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, and on and on and on. He mentioned a lot of places he was after, right? Okay. Him and Elon Musk working together, okay? So what happened? That's still his plan. He took over Venezuela and a few other ones, and now he's going after Greenland again, right? He even put a offshore rigging oil company in there and snuck it in without Greenland knowing. Then they found out about it and they told Donald Trump, boom. And then Donald Trump makes what? Another AI image of himself looming over Greenland. You should find this very disturbing because you need to wake up to the reality of what's going on. So why is Donald Trump all of a sudden after all these countries, including Canada? Because that's what the new Roman Empire does. It takes over the world. Okay. The last time that this happened, it was I believe Britain. Yeah, it was Britain. Okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. It was Britain, and it went all the way down to Egypt. Australia was the penal colony. Like, understand how big their empire was. It fell, but this empire to come this time around won't fall. They'll conquer. That's the new Roman Empire. Okay. That's in the book of Revelations. We have the war of Gog and Magog going on right now, which is Putin as Gog, and Magog is Iran being funded by Putin to fight Israel. Okay? We see the world turning its back on Israel and going against it. That's biblical too. Because eventually all the nations will rise against Israel and Israel will fall, right? The whole world eventually will rise against it, and that's going to happen soon. It's getting dangerously close to happening. So that's the new Roman Empire. That's the war of Gog and Magog. Pieces are coming together now, aren't they? You know, where we're told to follow the Catholic Church, look at the Pope. And just look at what's going on with the church, right? I'd say a lot about the church. I'll save it for a separate video, okay? But the Catholic Church is definitely falling. The mark of the beast. It's here. Just it hasn't been forced on people yet, but it's starting to. When we take a look at Elon Musk and we take a look at Neuralink, it comes to 666 in both Greek and Hebrew. Let that sink in. When you translate it to Greek and you come up with the numerical value of it, it is 666. When you translate it to Hebrew and you come up with the numerical value of it, it is 666. That's not coincidence. Neuralink is the mark of the beast. But so too is digital ID. Because what they're doing is they're forcing you to bow down to the image so that you can have food and shelter. So you can have work. Because in the UK, you cannot work unless you take digital ID. That's forced. Never in the history of mankind has ever been forced for you to work to take anything. Now it is. Right? Neuralink gets inserted into the brain and it has cured blindness and cured people that were paralyzed and crippled and couldn't walk. Now they're performing great signs and wonders, and Elon Musk calls it Jesus-level technologies. His words, not mine. You need to do the research. I've been telling you this all along. I've been telling you the truth all along. You just don't want to listen, do you? You're so prideful and so arrogant. You don't understand how close we are to the end. So then we get these data AI centers popping up. That's the mark of the beast, by the way. We get these AI data centers popping up, and what happens? It increases the cost of living exactly how the Bible said it would. Price of food will be so much for wheat, and for, a loaf of bread would cost us a day's pay, and we're at that. Because you know what they're doing? The elites chasing immortality. That's in the Bible too. For they will seek death and not find it. Wormwood is headed this way, and it is expected to hit us late 2029. Now, Wormwood is 3i Atlas. And it's being driven by intelligence, because they said when they tracked its trajectory, it's not functioning like a real asteroid should. It's functioning like it's intelligent. So it is being driven here on purpose by design, and it's intended to hit us late 2029. Okay. Now they said it won't technically hit us, but here's the thing. Remember, in the Bible it said wormwood would drop a piece on the land and a piece in the water. The water would be bitter and kill 1/3 of the people. And then the skies turned dark for 3 days and 3 nights. Okay? That's coming, late 2029. Now in 2030, they plan to achieve immortality. That's in the Bible. And Jesus saves them for the last. Don't touch the wine. Kill everything else, but don't touch the wine. You look at the Euphrates River and it's drying up at an alarming rate. So much so it was almost dry that somebody decided to fly aircraft above the skies, like airplanes, those ones that they do bombings for over fires with water. Well, now they're salting the skies so that it produces rain. The whole goal of the Euphrates River is restraining the 4 angels. They're going to be set free soon. Real soon. Trumpet blasts. We've been hearing them since what? 2011. COVID. That's one of the big diseases that we were told about, right? See, what God's trying to do is get our attention. But are we paying attention? We see Christianity being hated more than anybody else in the world, right? They hate our Bible so much that they call it homophobic and a bunch of other things. And now in Canada, you can go to jail for the rest of your life for spreading the truth. Like Leviticus 18. Sexual sin, right? So you see, guys, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, has reign over this world already. And it's really, really dark and it's really, really evil. Look at our music, look at our movies, look at our TV shows, look at how bad it is. Do you understand how close we are to the end? Everything is focused on 2030. That by the end of 2030, it's like as if everything's going to be done. Now, the world's smartest guy, Young Hung Kim, whatever he goes by, the world's highest IQ holder, right? Has a YouTube channel. He talks about all these things and he talks about how God's real, Jesus is real, how you can trust the Bible, and on and on and on, right? Okay. I'm really tired, guys, We're going to have to end this soon. But I have to do it in multiple parts so you guys get it all. But listen, guys. The mark of the beast is here. The demons are here. And it's not going to be long before the temple gets rebuilt. And once you start seeing that temple being rebuilt, which they are pushing for. Look, they got the Jews singing in the streets. All the Jews have come back home to Israel. All they got to do is somehow get into the third temple. Get the third temple going. And that's what they've been working on. Once you see that third temple being rebuilt, be ready. Because I do believe we're in the tribulation right now. And I do believe that coming up will be the great tribulation. Everything looks like it's coming to an head within 2030. Now, there's two dates of when Jesus died. Some people believe 30 AD and some people believe it's 33 AD. I'm with the 33 AD. But just in case that's wrong and it was 30 AD, well, here's the kicker. That's when things get its worst, right? Because we achieve immortality and that, now we're really going against God, right? Hardcore. I mean, that's the way these people are by design, right? They want all of us to bow down and worship them. Notice how everything's going digital, right? So you don't own anything, and you're ticked off because of video games, right? But it's not just video games, because your money's digital. It turned digital a long time ago. Digital IDs being forced in the UK, or else you're not going to be able to work. Mark of the beast. Elon Musk, Neuralink, already talked about that. Mark of the beast. And with that in your head, they can fry your brains and kill you anytime they want to. Too much power. So what you need to do, because like I'm really tired here, I got to get some sleep, okay? What you need to do is you need to start taking the Bible seriously and start looking into this stuff. Because all the events of the Bible in the Torah really did happen. And same thing with the New Testament. But then there was stuff that was told that's going to happen for the last generation. And we're in that moment now. We're living it. We're seeing it happen. This generation of 20-somethings and 30-somethings are going to see the return of Jesus Christ, because the world's smartest guy, even with the highest IQ, said Jesus will return no later than by the end of 2060. That's not that long from now. As to how long I'll be here, however long he allows me to. Okay. But in terms of on social media, I went from almost 9,300 subscribers down to 73. And I told you guys, I warned you, right? I mean, I serve God when you see this stuff going on. You know how? Because look at how much the world hates me. Right? Look at all the problems I had with, my health and all sorts of other things. And look at the problems I'm having with social media, especially with YouTube, right? Why? Because the devil doesn't want you to leave his bosom. Devil doesn't want you to see the truth. He wants you to believe in a lie, stay comfortable in your sin, so that when you die, he can come and claim you, and he owns you. Permanent. Trying to help you wake up. You think your video games are just video games? No, it's another way to cause you to sin. And I see people justifying all over the place, including that guy who's into Watch Dogs. I love you, brother. I hope you're here. See, I remember you guys. I know everything you say. It's all here, and God puts it all into my heart. I do these things to serve him, to help you to see the truth. But you mock me and you scoff me. Now look what happened. That channel's so damaged, I had to put it in hiding. But then you guys got to tell me if you guys want me to unhide it so you can download all the videos, because once I put it up again, they're going to tear it right back down. And they're attacking my other channels too. They took out Christian Gaming. How is Christian Gaming, violating anything? It's not. But they took it down. It's gone. and they took down Panic Man 10, and I had to fight to get it back. I did. I won. And they went, that's 2 strikes. And then someone told me, hide your channel. So I did. Thank you for the tip. I do read your comments. I read all of them. And I get back to you as best I can. I'm only one person. And you see how much the devil hates me? You see how evil this really is happening? Okay? I do this for free, guys. All of it. Okay? It hurts me so much because, well, it doesn't hurt me, that part. The part that hurts me is that you guys are so immature. That you just don't want to see the truth. You want to believe in a lie. I want to play Skyrim, so I'm going to justify it. I want to play Watch Dogs, so I'm going to justify it. I want to do this, I want to do that, so I can justify it. I want. That's the sin of pride. 7 deadly sins. Sin of pride. It's about what I want. No, it's about what God wants. And you can say you're a Christian all you want to and believe you're a Christian all you want to, but God will send a great delusion onto you because you don't want to see the truth. Because the truth is, it's not about you. It's about God. And the truth is, we are running out of time and we're getting dangerously close to the end. Literally. Okay? The Bible's now illegal in Canada. Okay? That one group that's out there to take me down, I had death threats from them. No one cares. One guy said that he was going to make it his life's work to destroy me. No one cares. Right? And look at the damage that they're doing. Right? You guys don't stand up and defend the channel? Maybe some of you did. Thank you for who did. Because right now you need to start taking a stance. And it's either you're with Jesus Christ all in or you're not. There's no time to be lukewarm. There's no time because it's running out. Because if I'm right, by the end, somewhere within 2030, by the end of 2030 possibly, will be the end. Now I personally think that it'll be 2033, but from what I've been seeing, some people believe that Jesus died in 30 AD. Some believe 33 AD. Okay? All depends which calendar you go by. If 30 AD is true, well, look at it. Everything's coming to a head in 2030. 2029 is wormwood. 2030 is when we achieve immortality, and that's the last straw according to the book of Revelations, because Jesus saves them for the last. And then he raises up all these evil spirits out of hell, literally, and torments them for 5 months straight. And they have tails like a scorpion and all these other things, you know? You guys need to wake up, man. The Bible's not fiction. And we are this close to it happening. I got to plug in my laptop. I'm at almost 5%. Once I hit 5%, then I get that warning on the screen. I'm at 7 right now, okay? So, I mean, I'm safe. You're not. That's the problem. And I'm trying to help you. Because if you don't listen, and I'm not overreacting, I'm showing you how all the pieces come together. I told you guys, watch my playlists. But you'd rather play Skyrim than anything else, right? That's all you care about is Skyrim. Then guess where your soul's going to end up? Hell. Why? Because you reject the truth. God's not going to force you into heaven. It's a choice you make. And if you do things that are ungodly, you're not with God. And it's time for all of you to smarten up and get right. Because you lack discipline. You mock and you scoff. This generation is the most evil generation ever. Like, understand how much power that community has. Do you see how evil things are becoming? We don't respect human life because of abortion. Then we come up with medical assistance in dying. Now we're using it on the elderly, the mentally ill, and physically ill people too to kill them off in Canada. Canada is turning into China. Eventually, I think the whole world is going to turn that way. Things are not going to get better. Things are only going to get worse. That's in the Bible too. The only time it gets better is when Jesus comes back, and that's at the end after everything is said and done. This is a one-time event. And your only salvation is to admit that you're a sinner. You need Jesus Christ. And I told you some prayers to do. Right? Should have downloaded my prayer list. Heck, you should have downloaded all my videos. But you didn't. Now, if you guys want me to lift that channel, I'll do it. But understand it'll get taken down real quick. Not by me, but by them. So you better be quick on the button when you ask me to put it back up so you can download the videos. Now I'm on Mountain Time, so tell me what time Mountain Time you want to make it active. I'll make it active. You better get on that button and download those videos so you can re-upload them again. Because I don't have them. I don't have access to them. I see them. But when I click on them, I can't download them. I can only delete them. They're not deleted. They're still there. But if the channel goes down again, then it'll be permanently deleted, and so will all the videos. You understand? They hate me. Then they hate God. They want to stay in their sexual sin because they love that more than they love God. Understand what that means? They're going to hell. You can't call yourself a Christian and do ungodly things like that. This is a fact. It's the truth. You guys sitting there, all you want to do is play Skyrim. Someone told me, oh, you want to get your channel boosted back up again, just go do a bunch of Skyrim videos. No, that was because someone took that video and made it go viral. Then put a lot of you in my path, and I did my best to save you. I mean, he saves you, but I did my best to bring you to him. That was a very short video to what I really have intended because I got to get some sleep, okay? But the bottom line is you guys need to wake up to the truth. That the Christian Bible is very real, and it's manifesting right now in real time. In so many different ways, it's uncanny. I can't go one day without seeing it happening. All the wars that are going on, rumors of wars, natural disasters, famine, plagues, pestilence, disease, all these things must happen. Eventually, Israel will be flattened. The church will fall. Jesus comes back after Israel is flattened and the gospel is spread to the four corners of the earth. We're dangerously close to the Euphrates drying up to unleash the four angels. Oh, and another thing before I go, something I just remembered, thank you, Holy Spirit. The elites are afraid of the book of Revelation because they realize that the book of Revelation is talking about them when it comes to immortality. And so now they're trying to find ways, get this, and this is true, they're trying to find ways to postpone the book of Revelation. No, I'm not making it up. I found YouTube videos talking about this, and I looked into it myself. I always make sure I do my research. Yuval Harari has his own website. You should check that dude out. It's disturbing what he thinks about God and stuff. Okay? You gotta understand, he's evil. Donald Trump is evil. We got it all here. We're allowed to know the season and when Jesus is going to return. We don't know the day or hour, but we know the season because Jesus gives us the signs of when he will return. And he tells us how bad it'll get. And he describes it like birth pangs, you know? You guys need to get right with God, man, because you're running out of time. It's just that simple. And things are going to get so bad. Look, in the Bible it says you'll be persecuted and put to death. And what's happening? That's exactly what's happening. You talk about the Bible here in Canada, you get put in jail for a lifetime. Lifetime. A rapist and a killer gets put away for a maximum of 6 years. But a Christian gets put away for a lifetime. Figure that one out. This is how much they hate God. You understand that, right? This is their hatred. They're telling you, you don't do hate speech when they're the ones that are hating. Not you. You need to talk to God and ask Him for discernment and to remove all delusions from you. You want to see the truth for the truth. You want to love what God loves and hate what He hates for the same reasons He does. Pray for that constantly. And discernment. Having the delusions removed. And on and on and on. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on here. Okay? Now I love you. I put a lot on the line here. Including my channel. Which isn't my channel. I told you it's his. And people told me, don't do this, don't do this. You know, they're going to... No, because I don't serve you. I serve Him. I would gladly... You want to know something? You want to know a real Christian? Anyone who would put their life on the line for Jesus Christ. I really honestly don't think you're a true Christian if you're not willing to die for Jesus. I would consider that the biggest honor. Sincerely, I would. I'd stick my neck right out the door and say, chop it off. And I'm not even joking. And I'm not mocking. I mean, literally, I would. Someone came around here that's Islam or whatever and said, we'll kill you in the name of Jesus Christ. Okay. Lob off my head. I'm good. I don't cling to this world. And neither should you. We don't know when we're going to die. We just know we're going to die. And that can happen at any time. 5 minutes from now, maybe overnight, you die. Not that I wish it onto you, but it's a wake-up call. We have this delusion that we're going to live forever. We have this delusion that we're going to live into our 80s. So we go out and do a bunch of stupid stuff when we're younger, and what happens? We die. Sometimes we survive, but most of the time we die. The signs are here. It's just a matter of time. Because those aliens, you know what they're going to tell you? To wrap that part of it up? Is they're going to say to you, there is no God. We created Jesus Christ in the Bible so you would accept us when we arrive, because we were the ones that seeded you. Now every Christian knows that's a lie. But that's what the aliens are going to say. And how do I know that? Because a bunch of pastors in the States were called to prepare the church for what's about to come. And that is what's about to come. The aliens are going to reveal themselves to who they really are, but they're going to lie about it. And that lie is going to be that they seeded us on this planet, when actually it was God that did that. Now the aliens are just waiting for the right moment to say it, so that they can deceive as many people as possible and send you to hell. I've never seen things as evil as this before, you know. I think I'm going to end that there for now. I'm really tired. I had proper sleep. I haven't slept for 4 or 5 days straight, you know. But guys, I'm worried about your soul. Please listen to me and pay attention. And if you want to know more, I'll tell you more because time's running out. And we'll really go down the rabbit hole. The movie The Matrix is really about Christ, John the Baptist, Mary Magdalene, and on, you know. So anyway, well, I still can because I'm falling asleep here. I'm going to go now. You guys tell me when you want me to put Panic Man back up. I'll put it back up. And then you guys download those files really freaking quick, okay? All right? Because I don't have them and I can't get them. I see them there and I go to hit the download part and it won't let me. It'll just allow me to delete them. It won't let me download them at all. One more strike and it's gone. That's why I hit it. Because one of you told me I could. So I did. Anyway, that's where we're at. This is real and it's happening. I told you about Blackwards. I told you about Israel with Elaine. I told you about Ron Wyatt. The evidence is out there. You just have to go and seek, and you'll find it. The Bible tells you that, but you don't want to seek it because you're lazy. And all you want to do is sit around and play Skyrim all day. Get caught up in work and your life and everything like that until you're dead and you don't know God at all. That's no way to live. Because then on your deathbed, you're going to go kicking and screaming, but you're still going to die. Then you're going to meet God for real. And what's he going to say? Take this seriously. Take care, guys. Love you. God bless.